What is going on, everybody? Welcome to What's the 411. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It is Monday already, again, the 25th of March. We are coming up to the end of March here. Okay, so this is our last Monday in March. I can't believe how quickly this month has gone by. So we're excited. We have another fabulous guest today. We're going to jump right into it. So please go ahead, introduce yourself, let everybody know all of the fabulous things that you guys have going on.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I'm definitely honored to be here. And I hope you guys feel the same way after the interview. But my name is Celeste Sadler. I am the co-founder and the CEO for DJL Creative Kitchen and Chef D's Gourmet Hot Sauce and Beverages. We Actually, I was just telling Miss Ellie that I actually also have a career. I work with Black student recruitment for a university in downtown Toronto, the Toronto Metropolitan University. Been there for like 2 decades. Work with the Black community, just shaping the way our youths access services such as scholarships. I'm also the chair of the Anti-Black Racism Committee for the Faculty of Business, something that I'm very proud of as the first as well. And I am a mom of five. And didn't
What?
have them all by myself. My partner, Chef D, and I are fortunate to have amazing kids. We have four boys and one girl. So
Lucky girl.
yes, we're blessed with that. And I love interior design. I love decorating. I spend a lot of my time actually doing a lot of readings. One of my favorite authors, Jack Higgins. And I also spend a lot of times just coming up with ideas and vision for my business.
A big creative we have here in the building, guys. Come on. She is a big creative, both a tag team, tag team together.
Exactly.
And I was just, you could tell that she's a teacher because as soon as we jumped on the call, before we even started the interview, she already was schooling me on St. Kitts. Telling me like, because I was asking her, oh, where are you from? And she was just giving me the full scoop about St. Kitts. So it's important for us to go back and forth with each other when we see each other, greet each other, and then ask each other where we're from because she just gave me a whole history lesson that I would have never known. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so talk to us about where this journey with food began, because you just also told me that, in St. Kitts, you guys have a food culture of more of a Spanish type style cooking. You know what I mean? So talk to us about where this food journey started.
Well, I'll talk to you about Double, myself and the chef, who unfortunately cannot be here tonight because he has work obligations. But for me, my passion for food has always been a conversational piece. In St. Kitts. It's where you meet friends. At Christmas time, we got so excited because it's where you have, I think people will call it like the longest food table in the world. That's really like what Christmas was for us. It's like every food you can think of, every meat you can think of, it's on the table. And it's naturally stuff that, we raise animals, we plant our own vegetables. So a lot of the stuff that, we take for granted here, like you'll go to the grocery store to pick up your fruits and your vegetables, those things are just in our backyard or just down the street.
Mhm.
So for us raised on a self-serve supporting yourself has always been really great for me. I have a food sensitivity as well too. I'm very sensitive to certain types of food. If the food is not cooked properly or certain type of spices, like I was just telling you earlier, our food are more aligned with the Spanish culture. So the spices that, for example, the Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper. The first time I tried that pepper, it took me out. Like it took me out. I have never tasted anything that hot in my life. And never again do I ever mess with that pepper, although it's in part of our hot sauces. And so food was always a way you also welcome people. Like when people come to a home, one of the first things you do, you offer them food. If it's the last thing you have, you offer people food. So sometimes when people said, oh, I'm not going to share my food with anyone, or I don't have enough for myself, it really it puzzles me because I was not raised that way. We were always raised that even if it's just one plate for five of us, we will share with everyone. So food was, like I said, it became sort of cultural norm for you to get together with friends, with family. For the chef growing up in Jamaica, because he has a different culture, he started cooking at a very early age. Like at 12, he was already running a restaurant with his family. Food is a part of his fiber. Like everything within him is food. He is so creative that sometimes I think he's not aware of it. And I know one thing that I do a lot, and he will probably attest to that later, is that I really push him. The more I push and I annoy and irritate him, the more creative he gets. That's my secret weapon. I'm like, why don't you try this? I don't like the taste of that. And he was like, would you stop? And I'm like, no, you need to do it again. And then I'm like, wow, okay, I really love that. And then I can see the smile on his face. I know food makes him happy. Again, growing up in Jamaica, in St. Anne's Bay, growing up, from a poor family, not always, being able to go to school every day just because you had to choose between going and getting food or you go to school hungry. So I know food for him is something that it's more of a survival skill, where food for me is more sort of an entertainment. So bringing these two worlds together was like, bam, right? Have my visionary. I love food. I love talking to people. I want you to come to my home. I would feed you everything I have with good wine and good food. He's more of a, okay, do we have enough food? Did you go grocery shopping? What should we? And I'm like, okay, stop. And so that really was, I think in 2021, after the pandemic hit and everybody was kind of buckled down, it really where I was inspired to say to him, because he's always dreamed of having his own restaurant here in Canada. That's always been a dream of his ever since I met him. And so for me, it was like, why don't we just start our own catering business? Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, how are we going to do that? And I'm like, leave that to me. 3 years later, DJL Creative Kitchen is alive and well. Dwayne and Tajay, which is my middle name, Logan, which is the last name, that became live. And then once the pandemic was hitting and, it was really hard to get a space, we were like, people are not really ordering food as much. What else can we do? And I'm like, you make great sauce. We really should bottle that sauce. And that's the first sauce that he did was my favorite, mango hot sauce. It's made from fresh mangoes, because I was very adamant about that, because there's nothing worse than having hot sauce and you tell me there's mangoes in it. And I come from a country where a mango tree or four in my backyard. So I know what mango tastes like. And if it does not look like mango and it does not taste like mango, my friend, it's not mango hot sauce. Okay. So that was really important for me to make sure that our hot sauce is authentic to what it says. It's something that I would, like I said, because I have food sensitivity, that is something that I would have, and it's something that we will give to our children. And so the Chef D's gourmet hot sauces and beverages became sort of our passion since then. So now we have 5 flavors right now. We have our Ghost Peach. We have our original flavor, which is one of our best sellers. We have our sorrel and beets, which is another of my favorite because it's not as spicy. And then we have our pineapple. And again, we have our mango hot sauce. And then the jerk chicken, like I said to you, was something that I just started to get because growing up in St. Kitts, jerk was not something I'm used to. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it tastes like. I've never seen it before. And so having the first taste of it was like, interesting. Don't like the spice, but it's a very interesting way to marinate. And I love marinating chicken. And so we started our first gourmet jerk sauce, which was our mango. So I always call that our big boy. And then I thought, you know what? Everybody's making the same original marinade. And there goes the visionary me, because I believe a food visionary, which I know you're going to ask me about later. So I'll go into that a little bit later. But then we started getting inspired by let's change the way people see food, especially from the islands. Let's make it high end. Let's make it the kind of food that when you go to the islands and you go to one of those $3,000
Hmm.
for 2 days resorts in Jamaica, and you get that really great food, and you go, oh my God, the food was so great. And you talk about it for months and months and months when you return. We wanted to bring that
Hmm.
to your table. So it's like you enjoyed it so much. Why don't we bottle that and bring that to your table? And that's where our flavors started to become alive. So right now we just finished making a dragon stout. Dragon stout is probably one of my favorites, apart from the sorrel beer that's in Jamaica. That's actually the shanty, I think it's called. That's
Yes.
actually another one of my favorite. When I went there, I just drink it all day. And so we just did a dragon stout jerk sauce for the Drake Hotel, and they absolutely love it. Again, it's you're gonna taste the dragon stout in there.
Hmm.
Yes, you're gonna have the alcohol flavor in there. And yes, it is authentic jerk because it has all the spices, including the pimento, that are native to Jamaica. And like I said, having my partner who is Jamaican by birth, making sure that this is something that he has made from scratch all his life living in the streets of Jamaica.
Wow.
So that's kind of where our company came about, our passion for food, our passion for feeding other people, and just really seeing people just enjoy the taste of our sauces and our food. And I know you're probably going to ask me about our food later, so I'm going to leave that for later.
Yes. So, well, I mean, you did mention food visionary. So, talk to us about what that actually means. What does that term mean?
It's so funny because I've always tried to figure out who I was and the way I think. And I know, my family would tell you that, oh, she's always thinking. I mean, you don't want to see my desk right now, but I have about maybe 7 or more books on my desk that are of business as well as much as my career. Sometimes I'm in the middle of sleep and an idea hits me and I just jump out of my sleep and I write it down. So of course my bed, there's my Bible, and then there's a couple other books as well. And I have 3 books that says ideas.
Mhm.
So again, a visionary is someone who is innovative. It's someone who thinks outside of the box. That creates change. So we have people who create social change and social justice, and we also have people who create change in terms of the food industry. So one of the things that inspires me when I refer to us as a food visionary is that we don't just stop at the basics. And as I mentioned to you earlier, like putting the dragon stout as part of the jerk sauce. I know some Jamaicans might be, whoa, what is she doing to a Jamaican jerk sauce? But it's really about it's something that we drink every day.
Mhm.
And the jerk sauce should be something that should be on high end. And if you don't move it into that space where the people who are making the decisions, such as the Michelin star, are saying that these are the things that you need to be able to consider yourself as high end or to operate in that field. So a visionary is somebody who, again, is able to lead that change, someone who is able to change the trajectory of the food industry, to do things that are outside of the box, but also to inspire people to just look at things differently. So, for example, we right now they're not products are not part of the Michelin star, and as a chef. One of the highest things in Canada in the world is to be a Michelin star certified chef. But at the same time, there is a Michelin guide. And so what we're trying to do is to have a conversation with them about putting products, because products is part of the food. You can't have food without the products. You can't have chicken without marinating them, right? So if you're gonna have great food, you need to talk about the ingredients. You need to talk about the marinades, the dipping sauces, the spices, all the things that goes into these dishes. Now, I don't know about you, but all of us can't spend time at a five-star restaurant or a four-star restaurant because, quite frankly, when I leave those places, I get extremely, extremely hungry because I'm not quite certain when I'm not quite certain where they came up with the idea that putting a spoon of rice in the middle of my plate is something that's going to make me happy, because it really doesn't. And I'm not so much as about all the decorations that you put on my food, because I'm just going to move it. Please make sure that there's enough food on my plate. And so being a visionary is creating that change. It's saying, hey, jerk sauce, jerk marinades, they should be considered at the high end level. Why? Because if you go into any of the five-star restaurants now, because everybody's into that whole ethnic spices,
Right.
a lot of them are making dishes that they have the sorrow
Mm-hmm.
and they have the jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And the Drake Hotel for the last 2 years have been using our marinades in their dishes. And a lot of people probably don't know that. They've created dishes and they've been great because they've actually given us the credit by putting it on the menu. So we have Chef D's mango hot sauce that they use and created a burger slider, which was absolutely delicious. And they invited us to try it. And then last fall, they created a patty with our dragon stout. And again, it was on the menu and it was named Chef D's Dragon Stout Marinade. Um, so again, it's all part of being a visionary. Like I said, it's a word that a lot of probably Black people won't use, but I use that word for myself because my mind is always going a mile a minute. Every time you think that, okay, I got it, I know what she's doing, I am 100 steps ahead of you, because I'm always thinking that I need to work smart. I am not here to work hard. I'm here to work smart. No, I'm not lazy. I just decided that at this point in my life, if you're not about inspiring change, then get out of the game, because food is about change. We have to change. We have, like I said, some of us suffer from food insecurity. There's a lot of people that suffer from food insecurity, but don't know that's what it is, right? So I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh,
Um,
you have.
that, like I said, I call myself a visionary because I'm always thinking of what is the next step? How is that going to impact my community, my family, and how is that going to impact the other people that are in the same space as us, to say, hey, I got you. We want to be at the high end level. I'm going to take us there.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so, first of all, congratulations
Oh, thank you.
that you
Thank
guys have
you.
had that success. And it is a lot to see your name and to be actually represented. That must feel fabulous, right?
It feels great. And I mean, and just being there and having people come up to us, because they're not only just put it on the menu, but they invited us there. And while we're there, they let everyone know who we are. So people come up and they, want to talk to us. They want to talk about how they can go home and make some sauce and stuff like that. So it's always so exciting that we're there to have a good meal and we end up doing work. But that's great because, like I said to you, what we do is a part of our life. We're extremely passionate about it. So I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as, yeah, why don't you sit down? Let's talk about how you're going to marinate that steak when you go home.
I love that. So as a visionary as well, it takes a certain kind of mindset to have that kind of vision and to actually be able to execute. Not only do you write those plans down, but you actually make sure that you get the ball rolling to actually physically be able to bring your vision into fruition. So talk to us a little bit about that mindset that you have to have in order to be a visionary, because you've got
I'm
it.
glad I'm glad that you said that. Whew, it's a lot of work.
Hmm.
It is not for the faint of heart. And I mean, and when I said work, like I said, it's basically you come up with the idea, but then you have to execute it. And you have to execute it in a way that you have to remember that you're creating food for a commercial space. So you have to make sure that you check the boxes on everything, food safety. How do we make sure that, because I mean, all of products are tested by a food scientist. I
Mm.
did not even know there was such a thing as a food scientist, much less a Black food scientist. So that was actually new for me. So all of products have to be tested by a food scientist. What they test is to make sure that there's no bacteria in our food in the way we prepare it. They actually have to double check, because if we said, okay, the jerk marinade can sit for 2 years, they certify that. We have the paperwork to
Mm.
show that it was being certified. Um, I have been part of many food labs, like the Foodpreneur Lab, which is designed for Black females who are trying to start a food business. So we work with chefs, we work with food scientists, we work with big box retailers, we work with the farmers. So it's also about educating yourself, because you can't go into this space unless you know what you're doing. Like, you have to be on the ball. And then the other thing too is that you have to be dedicated and focused. Because yes, people might think, and I know it was funny when someone go, "Oh, so you just add the dragon stout to the sauce," and I'm like, "No, you do not." First of all, it's alcohol, and you can't just throw alcohol in a pot on the stove. Well, you can if you decide you want to get insurance. You want to get insurance money from burning down your house. But it's it's the idea that you have to go out and speak to people who are in the space already. So, like I said, the food scientists, they are so amazing. Like, I could call them up anytime and ask questions if I'm not sure and say, hey, I want to do this. How do I do that? There's also a company that actually create flavors, like natural flavors. We also have work with a company that creates pure, like if we just want the mango pulp to put in our mango hot sauce apart from the actual mango, he
Mhm.
actually creates the actual mango pulp, so it's pure mango. And he sell these to the breweries and the other people that makes, wine, or they make wine spritzers. So that's what we use in our sauce, because he already has tested his product, so I know what his shelf life is. So when we put that into our product, then I know that that matches with our shelf life. And so, being a food visionary and creating a product, you have to be dedicated, you have to be committed. You have to educate yourself. My God, ask questions. You have to go out and do your research and find resources. And then you have to find people that are going to test it for you. And the Drake Hotel has been amazing, because they have world renowned chefs that are always the first to try our marinades. So we don't just, when we put out our marinade and we say, oh my God, it's so great, we just, everybody loves it. We're not just talking about ourselves, we're talking about the people. And the Drake Hotel is one of the high end hotels on Queen Street. So we're talking about thousands of people who have gone through that restaurant, or the dining area, and have tried our product. And we are getting told by a chef that's, like I said, executive chef and master level chefs that are Michelin star, that, oh my God, this is the best jerk sauce I've ever had. And then they try the dragon salad and go, oh my God, I thought the mango was great, but this is even better. And then I go, wait until you try the other ones that I'm coming up with.
Mhm.
Right. And so this, like I said, this space is not just about getting up and just throw a couple of stuff in the pots and, you kind of hope for the best. You also have to have a food certificate. So I'm advanced, and we both have our advanced food handler certification.
Mhm.
So at any time we're at an event and a food inspector comes by, you have to have the piece of paper.
Yeah.
And that means that there's hours of studying and an exam that you had to pass at an 80% to be able to be an advanced food handler certified. You cannot be in the food space unless you have that documentation. So
Mhm.
again, like I said, education and dedication for a visionary, you cannot be in this space unless you have both of them. It's just not going to work.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. Amazing to see that with hard work and dedication and placing yourself amongst the right people, you have to thrive, right? You have to win.
You have to.
Hmm. So being in the Drake Hotel must, of course, feel amazing, but it's the representation and the ability for people to be able to see that, okay, these are two Black individuals. First of all, you guys are together. You guys are working together you've created this vision and you're succeeding together, hand in hand. That representation is so important for our community. It's so important not only for our community but for every community to see that this is where it's at. So talk to us about that.
Oh man, sometimes it's like I feel like I have to pinch myself because like I said, the way my brain works, it's like I was like, oh, why don't we try this? And why don't we start this line? And why don't we do this? But for me, I just see it as it's just normal. Other people will be like, whoa. I'm like, where do you get the energy from? And I mean, having us be able to create something from a partnership where most people are like, oh, this doesn't work. We actually have even spoken to other couples. Like there is a couple right now that creates number seven hot sauce. And they right now are actually going into packaging as well to offer it to other individuals, and they're Mexicans. And so when we were in the thick of things, I have been able to call Carlos and his wife and say, hey, Sandra, this is what D and I are doing. This is what we're struggling with. He and I are not seeing eye to eye in this. What do we do? So again, not being afraid to reach out to other people that are in that space that are doing the same thing and saying, hey, we need some help. Like we're just like butting heads and this is not working. And having both of them laugh and look at each other like, yeah, we've been there. We know exactly. We know here's what we did, or here's what I said, and here's how I feel. And the sincerity that they're able to share things so personal as their marriage and as business partners with us, and not only share it but encourage us as
Mhm.
well to keep pushing and keep moving and don't giving up. And like I said, I spent a lot of my time when I was building the business behind the scenes. Chef, as you will see, he's on the bottles. His big face was right up front. And I'm fine with that. Like I said, when you become a visionary, being at the front, of everything, and it was never something I wanted to do. I was very happy, very comfortable being behind the scenes, doing what I need to do. When we go out to pop-ups and stuff like that, he'll be like, wait a second, see, you go at the front, you go answer these questions. I'm just gonna stand here and do the tasting. You guys want to know about the operations of it? Talk to her. You want to know about the financial? Talk to her. Do you want to know what we're gonna do next? Talk to her. So it became a funny thing when we're on the road, and people was like, well, who is she? Right? Because she's nowhere, right? I'm not even on the website. I think I'm just now putting myself on the website. His face was everywhere because he's just that kind of person. And a lot of people tell you a lot of chefs are very self-centered, and it's absolutely accurate. Uh, Very self-centered, and yes, it's all about me and my beautiful face. But it's just seeing how happy it makes him to see his vision comes alive gives me the drive I need to keep going. So it's really about him and very, very little about me, to be honest. And I'm okay with that.
Well, it's a beautiful thing to see. So that representation matters. I'm sure that, you said you have five children, those five children watching, both of you guys succeed, work together, and even butt heads sometimes, but then work through it.
Yeah.
All of that is important to see. It's
Yeah.
so important, right? So big up yourself on that, man.
Oh, thank you.
100%. Yes. So in the Caribbean world, flavor, seasonings, all of that matter. Even in, wherever you come from across the Caribbean, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter where. We like flavor. And
Yeah.
even here in Canada, we have a big melting pot. People are always trying this type of food, that type of food. It's all about flavor. So talk to us about what we can expect. And I mean, the expectations are top of top, but tell us, like, what can we expect when we eat something prepared by you guys?
So our food right now, we do the typical, the oxtail, the jerk chicken. But again, especially for this year, doing the big events, food events, we're trying something creative. So we're really pushing our jerk marinades because there's a lot of people who are in the hot sauce space, and God bless them, and we love them so much when we see them on the pop-up events and on the event circuit. But I think that the jerk marinade is an area where we feel more comfortable because there's not a lot of people are in that area in terms of not only just a regular jerk sauce, but just being innovative in the way we do a jerk sauce. And like I said, having it tested by a food scientist and having it tested by, executive chefs that are Michelin star certified is something that not a lot of people are doing in that space. So we can say to ourselves, we are kind of in that space hopefully by ourselves right now, but we are more than welcome. There's enough room for other people to come in. And so for us, flavors is one of the things that, and I hope that you'll be able to try that at one of our events, is we do it's a fried plantain, like a ripe plantain, and it's a deep fried plantain boat. And so what we've done is we've stuffed it with ackee and saltfish and callaloo and saltfish, especially because, like, for example, my sister, who has medical conditions, so she is only about having vegetarian dishes, and actually my oldest is into that too. He's on this health kick. And so having the callaloo and the saltfish allows people that are vegetarian, a specific type of vegetarian, to be able to enjoy our meal. We actually just tried it again. We stuff it with curried crab, which is one of my favorites because I love seafood. We're going to try that with some jerk lobster this year. Hopefully, hands crossed at Jerk Fest. We've actually done a jerk poutine inside of the stuffed plantain boat. So that's one of our signature dishes that anywhere you see us and we're creating food, we will have our deep fried plantain boat, and it can be stuffed with anything at this point. Like I said, we cater for vegetarians, for people that are into the whole plant base. So we do, I call it a calypso rice. So it's like a vegetable stir fried rice. And so literally we can stuff it with anything to ensure that we are meeting the needs of all our customers when we're out. And then we did something in which the chef loves. It's a jerk pigtail.
Mm,
I don't know if you've Pigtail is something that's native to St. Kitts. We do make a stew with the pigtail.
okay.
So that's definitely something I grew up on. I know some people might be like, what is that? It's actually quite delicious. So we actually jerk the pigtail with our marinades, and then we make a base sauce that we glaze. It's like a glaze that we put over the pigtail. And one of the ingredients that we use, and it's not a secret, but it's fine, is I have a smoked honey whiskey that's been aged in a bourbon barrel. And so we put a little bit of that in there to give the spices
Mm,
and the jerk a little bit of extra kick. And so, as you can tell, spices are very important to us, like you said, from the islands. Each island has a different spice, and I'm always one up for trying things, which I know for my stomach I should not try too many spices. But I love the way certain flavors come, and people identify their spices. Like if
mm,
we use a spice that's from Trinidad, for example, and we put it in our food, it's so funny that someone who is Trinidadian by birth would go, wait a minute, do you have so and so spice on that meal? I'm like, how did you know that? So
mhm.
it's funny that you say that because we're all very protective of our spices. And I
Yes.
know that because I've seen my one of my girlfriends who's Jamaican. We went out to have dinner one time, and the lady for some reason made the mistake of not putting any gravy on her food. And then the chicken apparently was missing the spices. Well, let me tell you, we had to leave without eating because it became a personal thing for her. And I and I looked at her and go, really? And she's like, listen, when it comes to food, you have to season my chicken, right? I am not going to have any rice without my gravy, and the gravy must have this. And it just kind of funny that you said it, and I laugh because it's like we're very protective about our seasoning, about our spices. You cannot not season our food. You cannot not add spice to our meat. It is something that we take very personal. And it's actually, for some people, it becomes very offensive. And I'm probably one of those people. I take
No,
high offense. If
it's
you're going to give me chicken that says it's jerk chicken or it's
yeah.
barbecue chicken and I taste nothing on it, my friend, you have to take that back because I won't be eating it.
Yeah.
I'm just one of that. I'm just that kind of
To
person.
be honest, it's true though. It's true.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my mom last night about this because she's like, the worst thing is that you go somewhere and you eat some food and you could
Mhm.
taste that they didn't clean the food properly or they didn't
Mm.
clean it at all. Those are the two, like, you could taste it in the food. So it's important, man. We have to have the food has to be cleaned properly and it has to be seasoned. And seasoned, not just your dash in the seasoning. Like we need it to be seasoned
Your
properly.
elbows have to
You
be
know
in the
what I
seasoning.
mean?
Like,
All of that, like
and
everywhere.
it's so funny you said that because even when we go to high events, we actually hire people to clean the meat. Like
Hmm.
we literally have people hired that we pay to clean the meat. So this is not a friend to say, hey, could you come by and clean this chicken for me? Because we know it's not going to be done properly. But when you hire someone and you pay them to, clean the fish, clean the meat, you
Yeah.
know that they're going to do a good job because you're going to be paying them. And
Hmm.
so all of that, I'm glad that you mentioned that. That is something very important because if you don't clean the meat properly, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you put on it, you're gonna taste that.
Yeah, and taste
And
it.
it's not a good, and it really ruins the entire meal. Like for
Ruined it.
me, like I'm done. Like
Mhm.
I'm completely done with it. Like it's to me, it's very offensive. But it's like even like like we're trying the chef does an amazing um popcorn chicken.
Mm,
Now,
okay.
every time we make it, I never get to try it. So it will be difficult for me to tell you what it tastes like because the moment that we put it out on the table and
Fun.
because he literally does the chicken into an actual lollipop, but he stuffed the part that's the part of the lollipop itself. He stuffed it with a bunch of stuff that he doesn't tell me about.
Mm.
And he just put it back on the bone and he bakes it. And you just walk around and just eat it just like that. It's never something that lasts very long. And I said to him, this year, you need to make it a promise that the first chicken lollipop that comes out of that oven, my friend, it's on my plate.
Yeah.
Like I need to be able to tell people what it tastes like, right?
Mm. Yeah.
But it's just like I said, coming up with innovative stuff that makes sense because you're not going to give me an alligator and put some jerk seasoning on it. I won't be having it, my friend. It's the food has to make sense. Like make it make sense. Like I said, I mean, I know people don't eat pork, but I know the people who likes pork and
Mhm.
who love our jerk pork are gonna love our jerk pigtails. And so
Mm.
it's just giving them a different flavor and something a little bit unique when we're out on the street.
Okay. So talk to us about some of the customer favorites that you guys know that they love. Okay, this popcorn chicken that you have is a favorite, obviously.
Oh, and the chef, I mean, we have an amazing rasta pasta. I mean, a lot of people call it rasta pasta. I don't.
Hmm.
I just call it pasta.
Hmm.
But we make an amazing pasta salad. And everything we do, and even for example, our ginger beer, which is a recipe that was my mom's recipe.
Okay.
And then, the chef fell in love with it the moment he tried it. And he was like, oh my God, this tastes different. And my mom explains it. She's like, I just do one or two things that are different than anybody else, any island that creates it. And again, like I said, because people don't know much about St. Kitts,
Yeah.
they don't know how we prepare food. You said ginger beer, and I drink it, and I could tell that it's not made from St. Kitts. It's very, very different. You could
Yeah.
make lemonade and it tastes completely different from the way we make it because our lemons are not the typical lemons that you have here. Our lemons don't even look like the lemons that are here. They have a very, um, a little bit of a spice kick to it,
Mm.
and very refreshing. So when you make lemonade that's from St. Kitts, woo, it's on a different level. And then also when we do our sour rum punch, which we make throughout the year, we do that with five different wine and rum. We make a bourbon barrel flavored sour rum punch. And we also gonna be trying our hot honey whiskey, which has become one of my favorite in the rum sour rum punch. So again, when you try a rum punch, it's Jamaican made and it's different from the way my mom would make it. But we actually blend other things. So some people will put in, like I've gone to places where they give me the rum punch twice, and I had to refuse it because I like I said, I'm not that just the sensitivity, but for me, if something doesn't taste right, it doesn't taste right. You can't just put a half a bottle of Ray Neville into the rum punch and say it's a rum punch. Please do not do that. Anyone who's done that, stop it. Stop it now. You have to put more rum in it.
Yeah.
And even my dad, who is Dominican, and rum is something that's native. We put different rums. So you got the Appleton rum, you have the Ray Neville, you have the grape rum, you have the hot honey whiskey, you have a bourbon barrel wine. I mean, you even like even the I found this beautiful Cuban rum, and it has a very smoky taste to it.
Mhm.
So that's something again we've added just to give the sour rum punch a smoky flavor. I mean, have you ever had a smoky flavored
I don't think so.
girl?
So I need to get onto this
You
creative.
need to get onto this
Like I
train
need a
right
full
now.
meal, I need a spread,
You need a whole spread. Like we need to invite you and just make a
right?
charcuterie board that's like from there to there, like the longest charcuterie board in the world with just different foods. And that's how food is supposed to be. That's how Caribbean food is supposed to be. Because, like I said, if you go into a lot of the high-end restaurants, whether here in Canada or anywhere throughout the world, they
Mhm.
serve our food and our spices and our marinades
Yeah,
in their meal, but we
yeah,
don't get the recognition.
that's right. That's right.
And we spend so much time fighting each other, and it's not making any sense.
Hmm.
And I know I'm going off topic, but just to give you an example, when we spoke with Michelin Star, and we're like, why there's not a lot of black restaurants on there? Like, I see a lot of Asian restaurants on there and a lot of Indian restaurants on there, but not a lot of blacks. And the first thing is, first of all, you can't get a Michelin star if your restaurant is in a strip plaza. I
Really?
know. Who knew? It has nothing to not all of their requirements has anything to do with food. If you're in a strip plaza, you are not going to get a Michelin star. If your interior decor is not up to par in terms of a European um, standard, you won't get a Michelin star. So I know a lot of us, we rush out and we get a restaurant and we're so excited and we start cooking our food, and you go in there and there's like two chairs maybe and a couple tables, and then you have a baby crib in one corner and then somebody's old piano in the other corner, and there's a fireplace, but you wouldn't know there's a fireplace because there's a bunch of boxes and tables and chairs that are there. You
Yeah.
would never get a Michelin star because it's about the location, the decor, the taste of your food, and the price. It all has to match. If you say you're high end, you have to be in a high end setting. Your food have to look and taste high end, and the cost have to associate to high end. So you can't say you're high end and you're selling, a fish meal for $7.
True.
That's
True.
not considered high end. I know a lot of people wish they can buy a fish meal for $7, but it's not going to happen
Yeah.
because I won't even tell you how much a case of fish costs us most days, because the last time the chef had to pat my back of my head because I was losing it when he told me how much just one case of fish was going to cost, just
Yeah.
because we were buying quite a bit.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's coming back to the idea of just giving people an idea of the steps you have to go through to build your business and to put yourself. So what who we say we are is who we say we are.
Mm.
We might not be the best at it right now, but make no mistake, we will make sure we go the entire step and check everything off, but we're going to be doing it our way.
Hmm.
And that's the difference, because guess what? We're going to make a mark. So if no other black person wants to come behind us and champion for these changes, that's fine. Michelin Star is a tire company. They sell tires.
I never heard of it before. I mean, I'm not in the food industry, so I don't know,
No,
but I was just like Michelin. That's the only thing I could think of was
tire. They
tires.
sell tires. That's what they sell.
So
But
how
they
do they
hold the
manage?
standard for food and culinary
How does that work?
certification in the well, because that's what Europeans decided would work for all of us. And so if we don't change the way people see, taste, refer, and handle our food and give us credit, we're gonna stay exactly where we are. Why do you think when you go after a restaurant, a lot of times people, when the bank gives you a loan, it's enough money for you to lease a space in a strip plaza? You could never go to the bank for a loan to get a restaurant and tell them that you're going to be downtown Yorkdale,
Yeah.
or that you're going to get a seaside restaurant along, I don't know, Burlington. It's not going to happen. You're going to get enough money for you to rent a space in a strip plaza. And that is the reason why a lot of the Black restaurants are not going to be part of the Michelin star. But then I go another step. Why do we have to be a part of them? Why can't we create our own? I mean, I've put it out to the Federation for Black Canadians. I've put the question out to the Chamber of Black Commerce. I saw someone I think Buy Blacks magazine did a story on the same thing I'm telling you. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have been saying that for so long, but they just talk about the problem.
Yeah.
But there was no solution, there was no recommendation, and there was no follow up and no accountability. And the only way you're going to make change is if you make recommendations. And as a researcher, you have to come up with recommendations,
Yeah.
you or suggestions at least. And you have to do follow up, right? And you have to be hold somebody accountable. And then you have to say, okay, what are the next steps? Or where do we go from here? We don't do that in the culinary space as Black food visionaries. We just complain and whine and make a little bit of money, and then we're good to go. But like I said, if we were in this for the money, I'd give up a long time ago.
Mm.
Because the more, like, we spend more than we make. We took an entire year off to perfect our recipes, to pay for the food scientists, to go and do all these food lab sessions. Sometimes they're like 8 months in length. So for 8 months, I'm in class 3 hours once a week or once every 2 weeks, or I'm downtown at the World Trail Center doing a certification for 6 weeks. Like, those are the kind of things that I do with my day. So if people look at our social media and they be like, oh, I don't see them posting stuff, or I don't see them going to events. We did that in 2020, 22. We went to every pop-up you can think of. And
Yeah.
that was intentional because people didn't know a brand, they didn't know who we were. And so we just rotate. We went to Guelph, we went to London, we went to Jerk Fest, we went to Caribana, we went to Toronto Food and Drink Fest. The chef was on the culinary stage at the National Women's Show. Every pop up you can think of, we were there.
Mm.
Every mall there was, we were there. This was for us to kind of have a sense of carrying the kind of products that we do and the food that we make. Are people interested?
Mhm.
And what exactly are they interested in? And who are exactly our customers? Most people would think that we cater for the Black community. We don't. We really don't. Our products are not specifically for, but our white customers probably support us more than our Black customers.
Mm.
So now we got to take a step back and go, how do we get our Black customers on board? Because we're not just doing this for us, we're doing this for them too,
Right.
right? Because a
Mhm.
lot of them will come up to, how many times people come up and say, oh, I have an idea, or I want to start my own business, but I don't. And I spend most time at my pop-ups educating people about where to go, where to start, what are the resources, who they should talk to, giving them advice and stuff like that. And I don't mind because, like I said, there's enough space for all of us.
Right.
And if I don't educate people on the things that I've run into in terms of roadblocks, how are we going to create change?
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid if I'm not here tomorrow, this conversation we're having ends with you and I.
Mhm.
That's not going to create change.
No.
That's not going to, I mean, yes, somebody's going to come across a podcast and, and say, oh my God, what she's talking about kind of makes sense. And then there goes that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad that you're doing this because, like I said, it really is about educating and just for me to just say the things I know because I didn't realize I know so much.
What?
It's because when you in it, you know, when you're in the thick of things,
Yeah. Mhm.
and then something else comes up and go, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm doing research and I'm asking questions. And then when I sit here with you and you're asking me questions, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even reading from my notes. All of this is in my head. There's something wrong with me. Like,
Oh,
why do I know all these things in my head? You know?
that's how I always know somebody who's really about their business
Yeah.
because it's just a regular conversation that we're having, right? And when you keep pouring more information out, then I
Yeah.
know you have a passion for what you're doing and you know your stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but these are all important things that people need to think about, whether they are in the food industry or they're
Mhm.
not. It's important for us to see where we should be collaborating to support one another
Exactly.
and helping each other to build bigger brands and standing behind a
Mhm.
brand that we know that can be successful. Like we have to start doing that. We have to.
And we do that, just not
Yes.
for each other. I mean, do you
Yeah.
know how many times like the kids, oh my God, I want the Nike shoes, or I need this. And my son will go in and go, oh my God, mom, I just found a great barbecue sauce. I'm like, did you try ours? Or mom, I just bought a hot sauce and it says little sugar. Cause like I say, he's into health kick. And I'm like, why didn't you tell us that you want something like that? We would create something like that. So we, like we depend on the customers, like I said, even though you know it's not our black customers that drive us, we still want you to be passionate about our food and our products. So if
Mhm.
you say, listen, I have like a customer walk up to us and said, listen, I need a steak sauce. It was an elderly lady. And she said, I need a steak sauce really badly. She said, we were at the Toronto Food and Drink Fest. She said, I've gone to several places and nobody has a steak sauce. And you know the funny thing, I don't remember her name because she
Mhm.
just kind of walked away. But this year, we are starting to work on a jerk steak sauce. Yes, I put it out there.
It's out there. It's out there
It's
now.
out there. Just because the fact that it's like you could see it in her, like she literally was hell bent. She
Mhm.
came to the event specifically for a steak sauce. And we had over 20 hot sauce companies that were there.
Mm.
And none of us were selling a steak sauce. So these are when I said you got to be a visionary and you're creative. These are the kind of things that has to go registered in your head. Now,
Mhm.
how do we satisfy someone like her? Like, imagine if I had that steak sauce ready, she would have been like the happiest lady in the whole world.
Yeah.
Why? Because she wanted to have good sauce,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm. So important. So important. So talk to us a little bit about some advice you might have for somebody who, is starting out. Doesn't matter if they're starting out in the food industry, just starting out on trying to get their vision to turn into an actual fact, to turn into reality.
I mean, the first thing I would say is don't overthink it. Don't spend a lot of time overthinking it. And you know, the chef kind of helped me with my vision a couple of years ago when we started. Because he said, "Stop watching what other people are doing." Because I look at what they're doing, I'm like, "Why are they using that? Why can't they use this? That doesn't make any sense." You know, and he like, "Stop it." He like, "You need to just focus on what we're doing. Even if somebody else has a mango hot sauce," he said, "That's fine. Let's figure out a way for us, for our sauce to have a unique taste, whether it's the way we prepare it or the things that we put into it." And so that really is what drive me now, where my thinking has changed. So I would say don't overthink it. And the second thing you have to do is ask questions. People that are in the food industry and they don't have to look like us are very, very open to questions. Very. John Hale Foods, I could call John anytime because I met him at the Foodpreneur Lab. He was one of my consultants. I go, hey, John, I'm working on a wine spritzer, for example. There's not a lot of Black people in that thing, but we're working on a wine spritzer. John was like, okay, Celeste, did you talk to this person for Canon? I'm like, no. He's like, all right, call this Cheryl. She's going to help you with the can. What about the labels? I already have somebody. Okay, good. Make sure that the label matches the can. What about the flavor? Do you have the flavor you want? Yep. Okay, talk to this person about coming up with a recipe. Right away, he literally gives me everyone I need to speak to create what I need.
Mm.
One phone call. John and I are not friends. I do not know the man from Adam, as we'll say. I only met him as part of the Foodpreneur Lab, and I'm going to plug them now. The Foodpreneur Lab was the very first platform that we participated in. And, that happened with me being in a hospital bed, fighting the coronavirus. And I literally started the program from my hospital bed with a tube in my nose, one in my throat. I can't speak, but I could type. That's just because my brain works different. My brain doesn't stop. There's no way for me to shut off my brain. It just keeps going and going and going. The doctor said there's nothing wrong with me, just the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
Where my brain, like D gets mad. He's like, "Why are you always thinking?" And I'm like, "Well, just the way my brain is wired. But you should be grateful because you benefit from it a lot." But join companies that are, there's a lot of food labs that are out there if you're going to be in the food culinary industry that are helping Black entrepreneurs. But if you have a partner, so like I said, D's not a woman, he's a man, but he benefits from me being a part of that because whatever I learn, I bring it back to him. When we had to do the kitchen part, he was there with me in the kitchen. They did, all of us got a video at the end, a commercial that we were able to share with our customers. He was there slicing up the peppers and, showing how to make the sauce while I was doing the commentary. And so, okay, this is what chef is doing. This is how we prepare it. These are the products we do. So we did that as a team. Um, how we got into the Drake Hotel was actually because we're an alumni for the Foodpreneur Lab. The Drake Hotel wanted to create this high tea with a diverse selection of Black entrepreneurs. And so they went to the Foodpreneur Lab and said, "Hey, do you have anyone?" They were like, "As a matter of fact, we have a few people." So we had to prepare like our food list. We had to prepare a menu. I had to do like a wholesale. So it's not easy. It wasn't just, pick us and we go in. Like I had to do a whole summary of what we're doing, who we are, our products get. I had to pay a photographer to do photos and everything and send it to them. And then they selected the companies they wanted to move forward with. And in fact, the last conversation we had with them, they want to carry all of our products
Wow.
in their food truck. Now we don't spend a lot of time down at the Drake Hotel, but when I deliver the sauce, sometimes I do personally, and I go in and say, "Hey chef, what's going on? What are you making? What are you up to? What are you looking for?
Mhm.
What's going to be on your menu in the next season?" And then that kind of gives me an idea of some of the things that I might be thinking of that I might want to work with. So again, I'm not a people person, believe it or not. I grew up very shy. I am not a people person. I am not a salesperson. I don't like sales, but like I said, you just have to talk to people, and like a lot of people just focusing on, oh, my design. I love design, but I do the design when I'm actually bored. I create our new labels. I was bored. And so I was playing around and go, oh my God, these are our new labels. This is a new logo for Chef D. The symbol that I just did a couple months ago. I was bored. And I go, we don't really have a symbol that, even if our name is not it, people should recognize Chef D. And so now it's there. I just made a t-shirt, design it. And at the back it said, never stop hustling, because I never stop hustling. I'm always on the grind. I'm always thinking, always planning, always. And yeah, like I said, and don't think about the money right now, because sometimes it's not going to come. Last year, our revenues were down. Why? Because we needed to take a step back. I was exhausted. I was off work so many times because of exhaustion. Because 2022, I just went hightail from January to the end. Restaurant Canada show, anything you could think of. People invited us and we just showed up. Sometimes the chef was at one spot and I was at another spot. And that's how our weekends were. Like there was not even a communication because we were extremely exhausted. And then
Yeah.
we brought the kids along sometimes to help us, because like our daughter, she wanted to talk about, how we make the hot sauce. I'm like, all right, go ahead. I don't mind. And our son would be like, okay, mom, what do you want? I'm like, okay, I need you to set up the tables for me, set up the tablecloths. So it's a family thing,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's like, you don't have to get your family involved, but you have to ask for support. But as Black food visionaries to be, you need to research. You need to speak to people. And it's not that difficult. You know where I spend most of my time and I got most of my leads? On Instagram.
Really?
Yep. I'm very unlikely I'm on Facebook. LinkedIn is more my professional for my career at the university. But if I want to lead, if I want to know about a pop-up, if I want to know about a company I want to collaborate with or do business with, or look at my competitors and see what they're up to, Instagram. When at nights, because the chef works late sometimes and I have nothing else happening, I just go on Instagram and that's where I do my research. I create folders on my Instagram, so I have inspiration for food. And I follow people not just local. I follow chefs all around the world.
Yeah.
I follow people who make chocolate because I love chocolate and I'm figuring out a way to make a chocolate hot sauce. And so I follow them just to get it's a vision, get
Yeah.
ideas, because like how do I know how to pair fruits together? Like, you just can't, like somebody's like, oh, you should make a passion fruit jerk sauce. I'm like, you cannot put passion fruit in a jerk sauce. Passion fruit has a very sour and acidic base. It's not going to go well with the spices in a jerk that would allow it to sit on the shelf. So
Mhm.
it's learning these things.
Yeah.
And if you ever look at someone create chocolate, some of the they put in fruits in there. They are combining that with different wines. And so that's how sometimes I get my ideas and my inspiration.
Mm.
Right. And so, like I said, Instagram started out to be like, we go on and do live and stuff. I don't do that anymore because I feel like we were attracting the wrong people. And then it became a problem for us because people were in our inbox with, things that we were not interested in. And so now I spend most of my time on Instagram doing research. I got my food thing. I got our kitchen space. I already designed the look and feel of a restaurant, what it's going to look like. So now we are speaking to the banks. I am able to give them a draft of what the inside interior looks like. I know the dishes I need because I've already got them from the restaurant counter show. I know what my tablecloths would look like because I already have my design. I know what the paintings are going to be on the wall because we're going to use local artists that are Black, that are, from the islands, hopefully, that are struggling but want the art to be out there. Put them on our wall. Let them be a conversation piece. We won't charge you. We'll do it for free because guess what? Like you said, you got to help people. And part of, having food, and like I said, because food is such an experience for me,
Mhm.
it's the music, the company, the atmosphere, everything about me enjoying a meal. It's all of that is important. So when you walk into a space, hopefully soon, you're going to experience all of that. You're going to have the good food, you're going to have the good music, you're going to have good wine, you're going to have entertainment. There's going to be things for you to talk about. There's going to be beautiful candles on the table. They're going to smell really good because we met someone who makes fabulous candles and she makes them. There's like a chai latte, and I love it. And my mom would tell you that I'm a candle fanatic, but if you burn any of my candles, I will literally lynch you. My candles are not meant for burning. They're just to be for you to smell them. All in my office, there's candles all over. Um, but again, it's like when you walk into our business, the inspiration has to be about us as a people,
Mhm.
and other people as well. Like I said, I met some great non-Black food culinary experts who even yesterday got me into a program with York University. I was thinking, oh, I'm so exhausted. I've done so much things already this year. But he was like, no, you need to go into that space because you have so much to give, so much to offer, and we want to push your business. Because now what we're doing, we're looking to make $1 million. And so now I have to go into these high-end spaces to work with these people that are going to drive us there. And we're working with some big box retailers, so you might be seeing a jerk marinate in some of the companies that you love
Yeah.
very soon. So
Mhm.
again, it's finding the time to do all of those things. And my thing is, opportunities are going to come, and sometimes I think, how come our opportunities are not coming? How come I see some people when their sauces are not as great as ours, doing this and doing that, and a chef always have to remind me that is not your opportunity. That is not ours. When God opens the door for us, that is the right door, because the small door that I'm looking at where somebody is walking into, and then I look and see that God opened the entire universe for me to walk into, then that is mine. And so I have to be patient and I have to celebrate people, but I have to know when it's my time, it's my time. And the opportunities just come to us. Sometimes they come to us by chance. Sometimes they come to us because I went out and started speaking to someone. And like I said, I've done a certification with the World Trade Center in Toronto. By fluke, they messaged me about something. I'm like, who are these people? And I've done two certifications with them so far. Right now, we have our export plan. We're part of a MAFCA. They invited us to a trade mission already. Um, I didn't see anybody else there that looked like me. I was the only Black person there.
Oh,
um and so it's like, and then I have the banks were there, like the Bank of Montreal were there, they had lawyers there, so I was literally sitting in a room of people talking about, I want to export my product to different countries. How do I do that? Where does the funding come from? We've applied for many grants. I'm always applying for grants. We've been nominated multiple times. In fact, I actually have two awards that I received last year. One of the top 100 most influential Black women to watch in Canada. When I got nominated, I'm like, okay. And then when I won, I'm like, oh my God, I won. And you should see the dance that I did when I went up on the stage to get my award. And the chef took the video, and I'm like, oh yeah, my mom was there, my kids were there. I'm telling you, the feeling was like, it was out of this world, because people might not see me around, they might not see a lot happening, but they have no idea the amount of work I do behind the scenes and the
mhm.
spaces that I've actually allowed myself to walk into and take a seat because I belong there. And even if there's no seat, I just scoot over because I'm sitting down, right?
Yeah.
And people welcome you. People welcome you. I went to an event and the lady gave me a number for someone at Farm Boys where I wanted to reach out to them to carry our products. And I got not only the name and number for the vice president. How else would you have gotten something like that?
Yep.
Like, it's just, you understand what I'm saying? It's not possible. Anything that we need for our products, with suppliers and everything, I got those stuff from people that actually are in the same space.
Yes. Oh,
So like I said, those are gems for anybody who wants to be in this space. Don't overthink it. If you have a product, even if it's just one product, that's fine. Some people's like, why do you guys have so many different flavors and blah? Because this is the push that we get. Because like I said, once the Drake Hotel realize the vision that we have and how far we're gonna go, they push us to, okay, what else you have?
yeah.
So we're being driven not by, yes, we're going to have one hot sauce flavor like the chef thought, and that's going to be the end of that. Lucky little did he know that that was not going to happen. Right? But some people have a product that's a great product. And I said, listen, enter competitions. You might not win, but just to have the accolade to say that you've been there, it's
Yes.
more than enough. Somebody invited us to ABC and wanted us to go down to the Dragon's Den, and they're taking a couple people there. I said to them, I'm not ready for the Dragon's Den. I'm not, because
No.
I'm still in the trenches. I haven't accomplished the things I want to accomplish. So why am I going to some place where I'm giving someone 10% or 20% of my business? 10, 20% of what though?
Mm,
I haven't, like, you know what I mean? Like, when I've created something where I could go, okay, I think I've done all I can and I'm ready to move on. That's when I show. So, not every space is going to be for you when you're starting out. Don't feel like you need to be everywhere. We did that, but we were specific because we needed to introduce a brand to the world, to the market. We needed to get people's feedback. Once we did that and we saw what it was, then we took a step back and we started working on, making sure logos are right, making sure brand story is right. We actually paid someone to write a brand story, and now I have to redo it. We actually the BBPA, which is a Black Business Professional Association, we joined their program and we were able to get them to pay for a lawyer to trademark our brand. So our brand is officially trademark. And we were able to also get them to pay for someone to do a business plan for us.
mm,
Huge. It cost us nothing but our time,
yeah.
just our time. So again, you got to join organizations such as these. I'm
Mhm.
I'm in the master class with the Black Chamber of Commerce. Don't ask me how I do so much things every day, but I'm there 3 hours every 2 weeks. And it's the master class if you want to make $1 million. And in that class, the Black Entrepreneur Fund, for every 3 months, you get $1,000 that you can put back into your business. And then they give you up to $2,000 to pay for certifications. So I am Smart Serve certified, which means that I can sell alcohol beverages and I can serve them. I can do anything. I have a manufacturing license to sell alcohol because we're a catering company. So anywhere I go, I have my license with me. We're going to do the safe space because we want to sell our products outside of Ontario. So again, the knowledge. You don't need to have it if you're selling within Ontario from the Food Inspection Agency, but if you want to sell your products outside of Ontario, we are federally incorporated. We have a $10 million insurance policy. You cannot be in a space, a food lab or a pop-up, anything without an insurance policy.
Mm.
These are things that I would have not known had I not joined a program that is focused on supporting Black food entrepreneurs. I would have never known that. And if
Wow.
you're going to sell alcohol, the minimum policy is 10 million. If you're not selling alcohol, the minimum policy is 2 million.
Mm.
Because if you go to any, like if we go to Jerk Fest, one of the things they ask us, you need an advanced food handler certification. They need to be on our insurance. So I call up the insurance and say, hey, I'm going to Jerkfest. Could you add them as a third party? My insurance company add them as a third party, which means that they're covered and I'm covered if anything happens. We're federally incorporated, which means that if anyone for some reason wants to undermine us or hurt us somehow because they say our product brought them any harm for any reason, they can't come after us personally, take our house, our car, our children. Well, they could take the kids, but not the house. They didn't hear that. Our insurance company protects us. I didn't even like these are things I would not have known had I not gone to a program.
Mhm.
Getting in front and do a pitch competition in front of Sobeys and TJX and Loblaws and HBC and Costco and the Great Canadian Commission um, supplier that moves up to 700, $1,000 worth of products. I would not have been able to pitch in front of them and have conversations for contracts had I not gone into a program. So
Wow.
when people wondering, well, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? We're doing wholesale. We don't have a space, but we're not going to wait for the space. So right now, we're just working on wholesale, moving our products wholesale.
Mhm.
When we get a space, we'll have our products. You can walk in and buy them. If you see us at a pop-up, you can purchase our products. But otherwise, we're selling them wholesale to the stores. That's where money is going to come from. Again, finding the space, a niche space, that's just ours. So we're doing flavored hot sauces and we're working in the wholesale space and we're creating a resort line of jerk marinades for hotels, for airports.
Wow.
It's just this is what we're doing for us because it works for us. And it's not about spending a lot of time thinking, oh my God, how innovative can I get? Should I think? I mean, I don't have time for that. I really don't have time.
Wow. Well, you definitely have a lot of knowledge and you are in all of the right places. And you've mentioned a lot of key things, joining organizations that are able to assist you and help you to change the trajectory of your business. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And shoot you exactly in the direction that you're looking to go.
Exactly.
That is humongous. Wow. You guys are definitely on your way. And
Oh,
like you
and
said,
enjoy the journey. That's the other thing. If you don't enjoy this, it's gonna get difficult.
hmm But you mentioned, like how it's important for you to realize that not every door that's open is your door.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There are certain doors that are for certain people,
Mhm.
but as like you said, when God opens a door for you, he doesn't really open a door and then close it. He's going to
No.
open that door and it's going to stay open.
Oh, that is so right.
Right?
Stay open, because when you squeeze yourself to somebody's door, you're gonna get squeezed because
Yeah,
you're not supposed to be there.
right?
And then you complain, all sort of things are happening. Because you're not supposed to be there. And
Hmm.
you have to understand that not everything is going to be for you. When you see someone go through a door and they're winning, you celebrate them.
Yeah,
Your turn is going to come. It's not going to look the same way,
it
but
can't.
it's going to come. It just can't. And
Yeah.
we have a hard time understanding that because we get so focused on why not me, and I should be there too. And, my
Mhm.
stuff is better. And it's like, I don't try a lot of people's hot sauce just because, like I said, because of my food insecurity. I do, but I just let people know it's nothing personal. It's just I don't want to spend another 5 days in the hospital because my stomach would not stop hurting.
Yeah,
So I'm good.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I'm glad that you pointed that out. I had to learn that the hard way. Is not every door that says, somebody go and say, come in, you should go in there. You have to pray about it and make sure that it was God that actually opened that door for you. And it wasn't because of your jealousy, the reason why you said, well, that door is open, I should go in. It's not for you.
mhm. Yeah, it's a lesson we all have to learn in life, At some point, we have to realize that, what's for you is never going to miss you. You just have to be
Exactly.
making yourself
Exactly.
ready for the opportunities when they arrive, and they'll present themselves, and it will be for you. It
No,
will it will be for you. Wow.
absolutely.
Well, how do we place an order if I wanted? Because like now I'm just like, there's just so many
Girl, I have
things.
to hook you up. I have to hook you up. You got to be one
I
of
need,
my official tasters.
right?
Um,
Let me know when, because I love food.
when you're there.
I'm a
So right
foodie.
now, people can like right now I'm working on upgrading our website, another grant we received
Mhm.
from the city of Toronto. So we're updating our website to really, because some customers, again, listening to the customers were complaining that, the website makes it difficult for them to order stuff. And then the shipping cost that's embedded in Shopify was too expensive. And a lot of times the chef and I, we would deliver for a flat fee. So right now I'm working on that. So you can still shoot it, go on our website, see our products. Hopefully I get the website updates done very soon. So you can order online. We're on Instagram. You can shoot me a DM and say, hey, Celeste, because right now we are going to be making some samples for one of our corporate clients. And so someone messaged me, I'm like, oh my God, I need a mango jerk sauce. And I'm like, give me a couple weeks. We're making a fresh batch. But once I finish making that, I'll also probably throw in a sample of some of the newer jerk marinades that we have, just because she's bought from us before. And so again, and then a customer yesterday is like, oh my God, I need rum punch. And I'm like, I haven't made any, but I have a few. And so I said, how many you want? She's like, two. I'm like, yeah, here's an extra bottle. Like those are things that we do, like I said, just because, we don't want to inconvenience people. But DM me, email me, Instagram, going on our website. And when we're doing pop-ups, I'll always share that on our Instagram as well, so people can know where we are. Because once you purchase it from us in person, like we won't charge you the tax. And then, like I said, a lot of times you could get samples from us, or, what a chef and I are working on is to get copies of different recipes that we've tried, that you can take with you, because a lot of people want to know, well, how do I marinate, and how much marinade should I use, and how long should I keep it. So we're working on coming up with something that it will be like a takeaway that people can have, to kind of give them some guide. Because I'm like that too. Sometimes when I buy something that I'm not familiar with, I'm like, how do I use this? And I get very frustrated if I can't figure it out, and if there's no directions for me and how to use it. I'm like, I'm not buying this again. So we have to learn from our own mistakes. But like I said, pop-ups wherever we are, I would post it. You guys can come out and support us. We had a couple of fish fries last year that we did at a restaurant. And again, we posted those online. People can come by and try our jerk fish, our stuffed fish, which is probably one of my favorites in the whole world. That stuffed fish, the chef put his foot in that stuffed fish. It is absolutely delicious. But it's also another way for us to showcase. And hopefully we want to do a tasting event where you can taste our food, try some of the wines that we have that we are sampling right now. We actually have a pine and ginger that we make a beverage. It's
Oh,
also one of the best sellers. Like this, the last time we had, I think I had 75 of them at an event, and this lady bought one and she came back and bought them all. every single one of them. Um, I'm like, it's that good, huh? And she was like, I love it. And again, like I said, our beverages are made like if it's the ginger beer, it will take the hair off your chest because I'm asthmatic. And like I said, I grew up on my mom's ginger beer when I'm all stuffy and clogged up and my chamber doesn't work. My mom will make ginger beer for me. So this is real ginger beer. And just so people know, FYI, if the ginger beer, if you can see through the bottle of the ginger beer, that is not real ginger beer, my friend. Ginger beer, once you add like the spices to it, the warm spices, it gives you a little bit of a yellow glow.
Mhm.
And if you've ever peeled ginger, which I've done that many times, when you peel it, that's actually what the ginger looks like.
Yep.
That's ginger beer.
Yep.
Nothing worse than going to competition and they're like, oh, we have a competition for drinking the hottest ginger beer in the world. And then the chef and I are standing there and I said to him, should we? He's like, don't. I'm like, should we? He's like, don't. And I went up and I said to the guy, you want to try this ginger beer? And I poured it. Well, he didn't speak to us for the rest of the night, which was fine. I'm like, my friend, that is not ginger. The what you were drinking, that was not ginger beer. This is ginger beer. If it doesn't take the heat off your chest, it's not ginger beer. So that's how you could order from us right now, like I said. And and if you need something and we don't have it, or if you're thinking of something that you thought near and dear to your heart, or you grew up on, I'm always open to ideas. Like I said, hearing that poor lady talk about how much she wanted that steak sauce really inspired me to create a steak sauce. And I want to use it with the Remy Martin, the cognac. I love cognac, the 1849 version.
Yeah.
Might be a limited run, but it's something that I'm definitely looking forward to do. But yeah, it's we're gonna get our space, but we're just not there yet. But like I said, that's not gonna stop us. And if you're downtown on Queen Street, you can always pick up our marinades at the Drake Hotel. I'm hopeful that we will get our hot sauces over to them very soon. So for those of you who are in Toronto, I want to pick them up. We do deliveries mostly on a Saturday or a Sunday. So if you're ordering in bulks, the chef and I will personally deliver them, or we will have them shipped to you by UPS. So definitely let me know if you're in a rush. We don't have anything in stock. But if you can wait and maybe get a treat, then yes, we will be able to help you.
Okay. And then so what is the website? Is it DJ?
It's www.djlcreativekitchen1word.ca.
Okay. So it's all pretty much the same across all platforms.
Exactly. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, DJL Creative Kitchen on all platforms, guys. You got to make sure that you're reaching out to Celeste and Chef D. They've got the greatest jerk marinade. Okay, I'm speaking and I haven't even tasted it, but just the way she's describing the stuff,
Girl,
like
this
I'm
is
ready.
like luxury in your palate. It
Okay,
is to die for.
I'm ready.
And the beauty about it too, if I had to let people know, because a lot of people don't know, it's a marinade and a dipping sauce.
Oh,
So when you have, those leftovers after you've cooked like for Sunday and you let the kids know that the food is for Sunday and Monday and Tuesday,
yeah,
and then by Monday they start complaining because they had the same food twice, you
yeah.
just dip it in something else and they don't know the difference. So that's the beauty about our jerk marinades. It's a marinade, but it's also a dipping sauce as well too.
Hmm. I can't stop thinking about those plantain boats you were talking about because
And
plantain.
the funny thing is, and people hear that and they think it's a snack. No, it's an actual meal. Because
Mm,
sometimes we do half and half. Like
yeah.
I would give, like sometimes I tell people, just try the curry crab with the ackee and the saltfish, and we'll stuff them both and slice them in half. It's an entire meal.
Yeah, because it's a whole plantain, right?
Exactly. Yep. It's a whole plantain. We slice it and we stuff it.
Wow.
So if you're not like some people be out and like sometimes I'm like that too, and you want to be a little bit bougie and you're like, I got on my good lipstick. I don't want to have any rice and peas and anything.
Yeah.
The plantain boat is something that you can, we serve it where you can just walk around and you can try it. We will slice it up for you so you can, you can share it with other people because people have done that. We're like, well, we want to share this.
Yeah.
So it's something that it's a meal, but it's something that you literally can just walk around and munch on.
Sounds delicious, Just let me know when I'm coming for the tasting. I
Yes,
will be
girl, I will.
available, make myself clear my
Please
schedule,
clear your schedule. Get
and then
your
yeah.
what do I have? My Alka-Seltzer. I have my Tums. I actually have everything in my bag because I'm not having it. If I want to try something, I'm going to try it and then pay the price later.
I love that. All right. Well, I just want to thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us, coming on here, talking about your journey, educating the people and myself. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. All
You're very
right.
welcome. And I appreciate you for even reaching out to us and asking us about our journey. It's really important, like I said, for us to have people like you that are sharing the space and that are doing your thing. And if any way we can support or you need us to promote anything, like I said, sometimes I'm really busy. I might not get out to certain things because I work hybrid. So sometimes I'm on the road, but just let me know and we would love to support you. From the moment I met you, I definitely appreciate you and I celebrate you and I pray God's blessing upon your journey and your business and your life, and that your universe is going to be open up as well too, and that you're going to walk into your destiny and your blessings, because like I said, the space is here for all of us and we have to celebrate each other. So I appreciate you very much, and the chef appreciates you as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And so, do you have anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to say what's up to?
So I want to say what's up to Marie and Janice at Foodpreneur Lab. Janice is the CEO of Foodpreneur, but she has also been a mentor to me. And anytime I have any wins, she's always celebrating me. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for giving us a start. Thank you for always believing in us. And we're always happy when you call on us, the chef and I, to do stuff. Like I said, when you have good people and they've been a blessing to you, if the chef and I could do anything, we're always there, always front and center. Even if I'm late, I will still show up because sometimes these kids have a mind of their own. But yeah, I just want to just say shout out to that and the sedulous woman who is in Alberta. They allow us to do pitch in front of the big box retailers, and again put us in spaces that we would have never gotten into on our own. So like we're just grateful to everybody and anybody who has been a part of our journey. Carlos and Sandra at Number Seven Hot Sauce, thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your counsel. Thank you for your support. And we're just grateful to anybody. I don't want to start calling names and then I miss somebody and somebody's in their feelings. So I'm just gonna say thank you to everybody. But those, like I said, those two people are significant for me because, like I said, real changes came from conversations with these people. And I like to make sure that I acknowledge that, although I do, but it could never be enough to just say thank you to everybody who's been a part of our journey and a part of our story. I wish the chef was here because like I said, this is always a dream for him. And when he thinks I'm not watching and he cries, when he see himself, like he said, in spaces he's never imagined coming off the streets of Jamaica, he gets overwhelmed. And then I'm just like, yeah, this is why I do this. When I see that in him, this is why I do this, because of him.
Hmm. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, you definitely get the last word. So, if you have like a motivational quote or something inspirational that you kind of go by on a daily basis that keep both you and the chef and maybe your family going, I'd ask that you kind of share that with us, you know?
I always love to quote someone, but I think I might just go based on my own experiences. Remember, the Bible says that, you know, faith is something that you have to step into without seeing. And so being in a space the way we are, you have to have faith in what you do. But most importantly, I think always remember that when you hit the barrel and you're thinking, boy, I'm down, there's nowhere else to go but up. And so once you're down on your knees and you look up, that's really where you need to focus, because at the end of the day, we all get there, but it's how we get ourselves out of it. It really, it changes you. And that's what, I am not the person I was yesterday. my experiences with my medical challenges has changed me completely. I think I'm a completely different person, and my kids would tell you that. So learn from your mistakes, but make them, because if you don't, you'll never know who you can turn out to be. And I'm a living example of that. I make my mistakes, I make no excuses for them. I just keep going, because the only thing I have is to just keep going, because I'm not giving up on this life. I'm not ready yet. Not ready to check out yet. God is not ready for me. He said I'm doing good down here, so he's going to leave me down here for a bit. Get
Well,
to hang
I'm
out with you.
with all of these creative ideas that you have, you definitely aren't going anywhere. You've got a
No,
lot more to give, and we're here for it. We are here to
thank you,
support
thank you,
you. We
thank
are
you, thank
here
you,
to
thank
see
you.
all of the greatness. So you guys heard it here first. You make sure you have your faith without sight. We got to walk blindly in all the things that we're doing,
No,
just having that confidence and faith that things are going to work out just the way that they're supposed to.
exactly.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Celeste. I
All right.
appreciate you. And we definitely will be in touch. All right.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. All
Bye.
right, guys, that is it for this episode of What's a 411. If you guys missed anything, first of all, you need to go back to the beginning anyways and just rewind the tape, watch it over again because way too many gems were dropped here, okay? Too many things you don't want to miss, right? So just make sure that you guys rewind the tape, get back into it, let everybody know where you heard all this information, and make sure if you have any questions at all, you want to make sure you order that jerk sauce, get down to the Drake Hotel, reach out to them on Instagram or order on the website. If you are looking to wait for that steak sauce, she'll let you know when it drops. All right, guys? Okay, make sure you guys keep it locked right here. I'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye.